You get
Finally.
points. You
Oh,
get points for
perseverance.
determination, patience, and
Oh,
I'll have you know, a perfect record this January,
I,
with the exception of my own failure, which was so bad a video I threw it away and pretended it didn't exist.
okay,
Um,
just trying to tilt the screen a bit now
that's
because I'm
okay.
resting it on my laptop, which is on a stand because I didn't know how to do the height on my tablet.
You see, everybody, this is how the professionals do it. Figure it out and then just pull it together. So, welcome, welcome, welcome,
Thank
Karen.
you.
For starters, this time I'm not making you do a Zoom at midnight, which you did
That's a
last
benefit.
year.
Yeah, yeah. That was a bit mad.
That was very mad. I'm so sorry. I don't know what that was nuts. But it's a delight to have you here at a civilized hour, BST 6 p.m., well, 6:12 p.m.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And so we are here to really just have a conversation uh, as a warm up to all about that place where we are heading out there and encouraging everyone to think about place in your family story and maybe place as a character in your family story. Now, Karen, you so impressed me last year as you dove in. First of all, just the title of your talk, Uncle Bill. So tell us what that whole story was about.
So Uncle Bill's actually my great Uncle Bill, and he was married to my great Aunt Vera, my paternal grandfather's sister. He was an amazing person. He was the only son of a policeman in Scotland who went to university in Glasgow and got like a first class honours in, I can't even remember what it was now, philosophy and something or other. Really, he was very clever, obviously. And then he came to London and worked for the Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, tax inspectors people, and then various jobs within the government, etc. And he's actually got knighthood for writing something called the Strath Report, which was about the threat of nuclear war in the 1960s, I think it was, but which actually was a
Oh.
secret until it was released. Yeah, a few years ago. So yeah,
Wow.
he
So
was
he was a
quite a
secret knight?
character. No, it wasn't a secret knight. It was the report that was secret. So yeah,
So they made him a knight for a secret they
writing a
couldn't tell
secret
us about.
report. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And so
Oh, so
he
double oh
and my
seven.
aunt had no children. Apparently, he said he didn't want children because it would hindrance his career. Uh, so, as the eldest daughter of the son, I inherited his whole, and he was an only child as well. I've inherited his whole archive. Well, all his
Ah.
personal archive. So I've got 3 albums of photos and
Mm.
tickets when he crossed the equator. All these amazing dinners he went to. Yeah, quite remarkable. I've got all his certificates and stuff like that. Yeah. And included in this was a load of pictures of when he and my Aunt Vera went to India, which is sort of where the inspiration for the title came from.
Right. Right. But in some ways, just being able to peel back the layers. I have this whole 007 or, you know, yeah, the whole life of pre-50s, the 007s,
Yeah, yeah,
and the craziness that must have actually been happening way behind the news and the news and history that we read
yeah,
about, that actually made those
mhm,
things happen. And you have,
yeah.
I guess you don't have the official government secrets, but
No,
you do have the personal
the
side.
tickets, the invites when you went to these dinners in Russia and places like that. Yeah, it is quite remarkable what's amongst those sort of things. Yeah, yeah,
Bet he had some very cool, you know,
yeah.
tuxedos and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the pictures are amazing. Yeah, you actually also have all his slides that he took, and he not only was he sort of like a semi-diplomatic type role, but he was a keen mountain climber, and he wrote anonymous articles in some newspapers that I have copies of as well, and took photos on their outings and stuff. Yeah.
So I don't know my history. I mean, when was it that Mount Everest was first climbed? And there he was
I think
in
the
India. Did he go up to
announcement was
the
the
Himalayas?
the announcement was when the Queen was crowned. So that was in 1953. So I don't think he went as far as the Himalayas. I think it was more like some of the French mountains and stuff like that. From yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite a remarkable life. Yeah.
Oof. Wow. So are you writing a book on this? Where are you going with
Um,
all of this?
no, I don't think so. No, I don't think my writing skills are really up to it. And just it'd be interesting, but I don't think anybody else would find it that interesting. I don't know, but I am
Well, look at
hoping to.
us.
Yeah, I am hoping to scan all the albums in and maybe make a blog site to share the images and the stuff. So yeah, some of the
Yeah,
things I
well,
have. So
not to get too direct here, but honestly,
yes,
that's what this whole community is about. And
yeah,
my fundamental perspective is I don't think I'm a writer. I don't think I mean, I see such wonderful writing, such wonderful talent. I've got some skills, I can get things done, but I don't have that talent. And yet, I've touched all of these stories.
mm,
It would be a crime if only the great storytellers could tell stories. I
mm,
mean, come on. And in many ways, if you think about it, many of uh, the stories that will be written about any great or interesting person, um, won't be the only stories written about
mm,
them. And yet the work that you do to pull all of that stuff together is incredibly valuable to future storytellers. So stories don't have to be told in written form either.
no,
They can be told in many forms. And you just said it. Scanning things, putting them into blogs, putting them into basically online forms
yeah.
that get the story out there.
Mm.
So, yeah, you are among friends. I'm delighted to see such a wonderful audience joining us today, everywhere from, well, across, at this hour of the day. I hope the Asia Pacific crew is getting some sleep. We're big on sleep around here. But I see that across the Americas, I recognize voices. And those of you coming in from Britain, welcome, welcome. I know you from Dear Myrtle and Mondays with Myrt. Thank you very much. Gadsby Family History, recognize you. And of course, Andrew Martin with Family Histories podcast. And yesterday's news, welcome. We have the All About That Place series. Now, you participated in it from its start. Is that right? Do I remember that correctly?
No, no, I am a volunteer for the Society of Genealogists, so I was sort of on the periphery bit,
Ah,
but yeah, so not directly, yeah,
yeah.
not in the first
But
that because that was it was like 2 years ago was the first one, wasn't it?
right.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll be honest, when that first one came out, I was sitting there on the sideline saying, "Hey, I want a piece of that. What? That is so cool. We need to do that." And I was shocked. I'm a member, I'll have you know, of the Society for One Place Studies. And one of the things that really got me excited about that was the notion of registering a one place study because
Yeah,
and it actually, we say unlike studying family members, our own family members, the whole point is that our family members are somebody else's family member too,
yeah.
right? Certainly over time. And one would hope. um, but the idea of putting a pin in a map and saying, that's my place. You want to join me? It is
Mm,
such a twist on the idea. And I think it's something that should just spread everywhere. So we see Marion was one of our very first people on today. Beeman just chimes in from Florida. Um, uh, we have just done a series also about stories related to the American Revolution, where all of us on either side of the pond were on different sides of the war. Maybe, maybe not. But what was delightful was to discover that we had stories filtering, and in fact, still possibly the majority of the stories filtering into the series have come from Australia and New Zealand, which
wow.
is fun. And it's because their ancestors just happen to be here too, some
Yeah.
on the loyalist side and some on the American side, or the rebels, the rebel alliance. But there we go. All these stories of place make us wake up and realize where those places are. Your story of place is in many ways about the British East India Company and the many places that they extended, and how, as a researcher, to get after those records. Now, again, a tip, and I will include it in the notes for this. The recording is in the Project Kin archive, but you touched on so many different services and where to be finding those records. Without going into the detail that's over in that presentation, did you find, on the whole, you had what are the different types of collections that you found? There were some government records and then some of the services.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the
So,
best at this?
hmm, if you are of British Indian descent, as in your family were in British service in India, British India, or working there for some reason, probably the first place to go would be for records would be Find My Past, because they digitized a lot of the stuff that ended up. So the records were kept in India originally, and then they were brought back to the India office. And all of those records, or majority of those records, now reside in the British Library. And Find My Past have been digitizing lots of them, but it's only a fraction of what actually exists. And
Mm,
so you really, for some of them, you have to go into the library and actually view them for real live documents, that are several
I
hundred years
see.
old, which is
I
quite,
see.
quite, quite good. But yeah, so Find My Past have most of the baptisms, marriages, and burials.
Mm,
So that's probably the one that most people will want to use from that point of view.
mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm,
other best place is the FIBIS, Families in British India Society, which is a family history society for people with connections to British India. And I actually was asked to become a trustee during the summer. So I'm now a trustee of the FIBIS. So yeah, that's quite an honour. Yeah.
the
And
balance of these kinds. Go ahead.
they have some amazing collections of stuff. A lot of it's indexes, but it tells you where to go next. So if you think your ancestor was in British India, and we mean for British India not just India, but its wider area, because it covers quite a lot of places originally, then it's worth putting the surname in their search engine and seeing what comes up. And it's free. What
Ah,
more can you say?
so in the balance of, really, it's the business models of the investment for scanning. Do you anticipate, from what you already know, that more of those records will be digitized for commercial purposes from somebody like Find My Past, or will they be
I
available
don't, I
through
don't, I don't know.
libraries
I
or the
mean,
PIBIS?
yeah. The Fibis, obviously, it's a charity and it's manned by volunteers, so that's quite hard for them to do huge amounts of digitizing. But they do lots of indexing, which is a good starting point for people. Whether Find My Past do occasionally add stuff to the India records, but not often. I think it's possibly if they missed it out, in the first place. The one place that has done some investing is Family Search. So a lot
Mhm,
of the records are also available on Family Search. Some of it you have to go into an affiliate library to have a look at
mhm.
because of
Yeah,
it's locked
but they have a lot
otherwise.
of
So
those.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they've got, for example, quite a lot of the Catholic records that aren't on Find My Past. So it's
Mm.
unfortunately it's one of those things you have to delve in to lots of different
Yeah.
pots to work out
Yeah.
where to go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. So you also do client work as well. I mean,
yes,
for
yeah.
someone who is dabbling, not really sure what they want to invest in, not really sure where they're going, where would you recommend they get started?
I would, for if you think your family are in British India, then I would probably take out a month's subscription to Find My Past as a good starting point. Yeah,
Mm,
because they've got
mm.
lots of stuff, not just the births, marriages, and deaths. They've got a lot of the military records and things like that. So if you're going to
Who
pick
would have?
one, I would do
Uh
that.
huh.
Yeah.
Uh huh. And who would have records? Oh, actually, can you get to Find My Past from the affiliate libraries from Family Search?
You can here in England, whether you can elsewhere, I'm not actually sure.
That's easy to find
Interesting
out.
thought. Yeah. Your Ancestry does have a lot of the records indexed, but there's no images.
Aha. I see. I see.
I think
Uh, and
I think My Heritage has them indexed as well. So yeah,
I'm afraid I'd like to think that it's for purely business reasons to support the membership, but I'm notoriously cheap and always looking at how I can find records
yeah, yeah.
that
And
one
if
way
you
or
want to
another.
do, yes, yeah, exactly. So if you're starting out and don't want to have a subscription, then I would use Family Search and Fibis. It's a good place to
Yeah,
start.
that's what it's sounding like. And
The
or
problems will be, yeah, if
your
you
local
don't have,
public
if you've
library.
got a, the problem will be if you've got a common surname. That's when it will be a
Yeah,
problem
Smith.
when you're looking just at indexes. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Here in the US, and maybe some of you can chime in, Family Histories podcast points out, yeah, your collection of papers. Um, the local public libraries, many local public libraries have
yeah.
genealogy centers. And as you'll recall, I believe it was paired with your talk, and we'll have her tomorrow, was Allison Singleton from the Genealogy Center.org, I believe it is, at the Allen County Public Library in Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, a single county that just doubled down on genealogy. It's
Yeah,
really a remarkable library.
yeah.
Here, through my public library that doesn't have any kind of genealogy specialty, there is a service called ProQuest, which is essentially an embedding system. So I log in with my local public library login, and then it channels me to Ancestry, for example. So
Wow.
I don't have an Ancestry account, and I don't keep my tree on Ancestry. I keep it locally, but I can go that way to get access to any of the records. And my family tree is actually online. It's best for one whole branch, is best on Family Search. So,
Mm, yeah,
I think that's what we all do, right?
yeah.
Jumping all over
I,
the place.
yeah, I mean, here certainly in England, some libraries have subscriptions to Ancestry and Find My Past. Some also have the genealogist, which is wonderful if you love maps. Um, and some have the newspaper archives. It does vary from place to place. Um, are we all, they don't really have genealogy centres. I've not really come across any of that, but we have a lot of local archives. So where I live in North London, we have our we have a couple of local archives, and I can get access to some of those sites there, those
And then you
websites as
also
well.
have a wonderful family history society, right? Society of Family Histories, or something like this.
There's the
Yeah.
Society of Genealogists, but
Well, of course,
there's the Federation of Family
the
History
Federation of
Societies.
Family History
Yeah, that's the
Societies. Yeah.
overpowering one that basically looks after all the family history. So I'm on the committee for the London, Westminster, and Middlesex Family History Society, and
Yeah.
they're sort of like the umbrella organisation. Yeah,
Right. So here's the secret. From where I sit, we have the privilege. Well, where I sit in California, speaking of place, we go each direction, kind of equidistant almost, to both Europe and to Asia Pacific. And so as a result, we have such a wonderful community that just spans the globe. Not so good on
mm,
India, to be honest. India and South Africa, it's a bit of a stretch for us. But we do span the globe that way. And it's wonderful because, of course, our ancestors did too.
yeah,
And so I'm always happy to see the conversations that extend, where we can knock on each other's doors and say,
yeah,
hey, and you don't have to intrude. You just drop a note, post something as a note, and everybody will chime in with what they do know and where the pointers are. And nothing has to be exclusive to this. We're all platform independent
yeah.
and finding the best ways to get what we need to get done, and brought to you by the generous contributions of our patrons. Keep my Zoom bill paid for. And then, of course, we have both these live programs using the joy of Substack, all its joys, right? And Zoom. So we have another program this afternoon. A little late for you. It starts at 11 o'clock your time in
Yeah, I'll
Britain.
be asleep by then,
But you
hopefully.
can watch the recordings with Kathy's Corner, where we dive into the archives themselves. And today she'll be talking about how to recover those damaged photos, water damage,
Mm.
and slides that have been ruined by water and sun, and this and that and the other thing. And some things you can save and some things you can't. But I want to thank you so much for joining. I promised this to be a very short presentation, and this time I'm going to save the recording. You'll get a note as well, and all of you out there doing your own Substack lives. At the end of it, you, both the host and the guest, get a recording. I'm going to drop mine into my drafts folder and go trim off the "it didn't really happen" noise at the beginning. So if it seems a little disjointed, you'll know why. And we'll just keep getting started again tomorrow. Join us for, I believe it's Allison, but you'll find the schedule at projectkin.org/AATP dash events. APTP 25 dash events is the full calendar, or Project Kin's calendar. And whatever you do, don't miss, just hashtag AATP25 for all the wonderful recordings and materials being collected this year for our mini AATP. All righty. Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining. It helped keep us company as we worked through the butterflies and got all of this off to a wonderful start. And Karen, welcome to Substack.
Thank you.
We'll talk more later. Take
Okay,
care
thank
now.
you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.